Hey everybody, looks like E3 2016 has wrapped up. I have a lot to say on the show with all the games. So first of all, I am joined by a repeat offender here on all these videos I do, which is of course Shay.
Hey guys.
And we're just going to be talking about all the video games that were on the show, the ones that we just want to talk about. It's going to be a lot of RPGs probably for the most part. And,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of good stuff to talk about. But first, I want to go through the 2017 games. We'll take a quick break, and then we'll come back to talk about what we can look forward to this year. I just wanted to basically start off the show with Zelda, and I figured we might as well stick with 2017 from there. So, Zelda Breath of the Wild was
Looks
finally...
so freaking good. And it was awesome that they had the director on there.
Anuma, he is on there like quite a bit. I liked how he was just like, we're trying to change things up, but obviously there's a couple funny lines from like all the streams. They showed a lot of this game. This is pretty much what they were talking about. They're like, this is the only game we're going to bring to the show, and then they're like, we got some other stuff to show you too. But the thing I just can't help but think about the entire time I'm watching this is, what is this going to look like on the NX? How is that going to integrate with the NX?
Right.
Because last year they promised not only Zelda, but they said the NX will be talked about next year. And I assumed it would be E3, but technically they didn't say next E3. But at the same time, it's like, when are you going to do this? My big prediction was, after they said they're just going to bring Zelda, was, they're going to at least say, look forward to August, whatever, we're going to be talking about the NX and a bunch of other stuff then. But they haven't said anything about when they're going to talk about it. Just like, they're very shy about it, other than it's coming out in March 2017, and you gotta get the hype up. They can't just... They gotta talk about it. And there's all these rumors going around about the console, and that little, that thing that comes out of the tablet thing. It's a Wii U pad, but you gotta imagine that the other system has to have some kind of tablet.
Right.
Yeah, I'm kind of skeptical because while I love the cel-shaded look,
Yep. Very beautiful.
I don't know what this game is, and I don't know if Nintendo knows.
I'm a little concerned right away that Link is waking up in a hyperbolic stasis pod.
It looks like he's coming out of the Darth Vader thing that he has to sit in. the weird shell. I do like how there's voice acting, so...
Oh, yes. I was very happy to hear that.
Do you think that's Zelda?
Let's hope it's Zelda. Otherwise, I don't want another Navi.
Yeah. Well, it already was, in the demos, hey, remember I told you to go to that thing? Go to that thing. Stop exploring.
Don't cut the grass.
Yeah, but, okay, so this is, a weird... Also, the entire time I'm thinking of, other games have done this before, so, even though it's the first time Zelda is really doing it, it's less impressive to me. And I know that feels like a very petty thing to say, other games have done this before, so Zelda's not, any different, but it's also, it's like a mash of, the classic Zelda stuff with, a Minecraft thing and some other things, and, Skyrim. Skyrim was, the big thing that keeps on coming back to me. Yeah, I just hope it's not I hope there's actual stuff to do, and there's not well, you just make your own adventure, because that's what, Minecraft is. And while Minecraft is fun, I like a Zelda to be a scripted kind of narrative, but, I'm just a little hesitant about the way they're doing it. But otherwise, it looks great.
I like that you are able to interact with the world as if you were actually there, like Link swimming, then going to climb.
Yeah, his climbing animation is really weird, though. But I like that he can climb. He looks like an old man, moving, going up the thing. But that's kind of cool. There's a lot of cool things about it. Again, I don't know if it's just, I've seen too many RPG open worlds that it's, not that many. And just because Zelda's doing it, it's not like it should be, a huge thing, although it should.
I want to say it's almost like DC sitting on their hands for all those years to make movies.
Yeah, and they're not doing a good job with that. It's Marvel's done it. We want you to do it too. Stop going the dark route. They're well, yeah, we're not going to have any humor. We're going to be, so stoic, and people are going to love it. We're going to have Zack Snyder have the whole universe at his hands, because we know that's what you want.
We know that's what you want.
That is so funny, shit. That's exactly what I was going to go into. Like, the example was Marvel, where it's like, DC's like, yeah, we've seen Marvel do it, so it's less impressive that DC is doing it, especially because they're not doing it well.
No.
So, but I think this Zelda looks like it could be doing it well.
It
I don't know.
feels-
There's a lot of things holding me back about
It feels like
my judgment.
it's a late hurrah for Zelda.
Yeah, also it's been delayed 1,000 times.
Right.
So.
This is almost like Final Fantasy Type 0 with how many pushbacks it had.
And 15. Well, as long as you brought
15.
it up. As long as you brought it up, let's jump into 15. So there was that event a couple months ago that we talked about.
That was really exciting.
That was. And then there's been a couple things before this. Before E3, they had another active time report where they showed some more stuff. And at E3, they showed there's like a wait mode.
I kind of like that because I feel like that's what really held me back in other active Final Fantasy games.
Yeah, it's just it's nice that it's there, but it also seems a little bit cumbersome. You have to pause it every single time you gotta do a move.
It seems like it's really clunky.
Yeah, it would have been cool if they maybe did maybe something like 12, where it was like a Gambit kind of thing, where it's like it's auto battle, which some people may not like because it plays itself, but at the same time, I don't know. It is kind of a nice little mode they had in there. But there's some other news that I did not share with you because it's not like in a trailer.
Mm-hmm.
If you pre-order this game, you will get a side-scrolling beat-em-up starring the king that takes place like 30 years before 15 takes place. It's called like... I can't remember what it's called. It's like King something. But it looks cool. It looks like a very clean 16-bit beat-em-up. And it looks cool, but it's also... You can only get it if you pre-order.
Oh.
And as you know, they already announced a bunch of stuff at that 15 event before, and now they're showing off more things. It's like, guys,
must be really worried about 15.
Or they're so confident that they're like, we're going to shove everything up front and not do anything down the road. This is like one and done. We're not going to do any spin-offs after this. We're just going to shove it out the front door right now. I think everything about the game looks great. The only thing that's like less confident for me is how much they're pushing it. Now it's like, now you're showing it too much, and you got to save some of that stuff for when the game actually launches. And there's still a couple more months before that too on September 30th. So it's like, guys, you got to like chill out. We know it exists. You gave us a date. It's cool to just let that kind of hang there. Maybe show us some more stuff in like August just to remind us. But stop showing us stuff.
I feel like Square has really put all their money on one horse. They used to have so many different like things going on, and they still have all those teams, right?
Yeah, of course.
But it just feels like.
Well, like you said, I mean, this has cost them who knows how many millions, if not billions of dollars. And it's hard to remember everything they have in their pocket because this just like trumps everything else just because of how much of like a joke it is, kind of.
Right, and we've waited so long for 15 that if it's not good, I feel like this will break Square.
If it's not good, I feel like Final Fantasy may be done for like a very long time until like years down the road. It's like, now we're bringing Final Fantasy back as Final Fantasy, which...
Final Fantasy NX!
Brings me to another point here, which is God of War, which they're rebooting, and they're just calling it God of War.
I am really excited with the turn they took that down.
Me too. I am someone that...
Like, I didn't like God of War. I didn't really like any of the God of Wars.
If you've played all the games, which I have, something in my brain just made me play all those games.
Yeah.
And I should go back for a second and say, we were talking about 2017 games, and I kind of sidestepped us into 15. 15's coming out this year, so that was just a misstep on my part. But God of War is, in all respects, a 2017 game, if not beyond. But anyway...
Right.
So they're rebooting it. The theory or the rumors was it was going to be Norse mythology, and maybe it was going to be a new God of War. But it seems like it's Kratos old with a son.
Yeah, he had a kid somehow.
Yeah, and that kid...
Who had a kid with him?
I just kind of... Well, that's why he went crazy, because his wife and daughter died.
Right.
He vowed revenge on the gods, and then he wouldn't stop. And he even, hurt, normal people, too. He was just a dick. And now he's just old and he's like, "You missed the deer! I'm gonna murder you." I was like,
Oh
"Wow, you're
yeah.
still a dick." And he's like, "Calm down." There's gotta be like a mini game where you like squeeze a ball and be like, "It's gonna be okay."
Give me my bow. No, not until you prove yourself.
I'm gonna fuck you. I mean, I'm sorry. I'm trying to change. So you can tell that he's trying to be like. I mean, this might not even be like the Kratos. It might be just another reborn Kratos in this Norse world. But
Right.
there's a lot of things surrounding it that's very kind of mysterious. Where this one is an open world. It seems like that's come out after the demo. There's gonna be a button dedicated to just using his son. So
Oh.
that when he said shoot, someone could have been like hitting a shoot button
You
on the
don't think
thing.
they'd offer a co-op for this?
I don't know. My theory is like half the game you're like Kratos, maybe the next one,
It's
or
gonna
like halfway
be
through it's gonna be the kid.
well,
I don't know. I just don't like Kratos, but at least this one it seems
it's
like
gonna be
he's
like
trying.
it's gonna be like Resident Evil 5, where the AI is completely weird.
But everything in the game like looked great. That little axe
Oh
he
man,
had, like
yeah,
all the Norse stuff. But the one
beautiful.
thing I can't like keep my mind off of is when that weird monster was like, wait, no. I feel like there might be something about Kratos that is
Bad.
bad besides him just being a dick, and his son is gonna
Right.
have to like turn on him by the end or
Oh man,
something.
give it a Capcom ending where you can't lose, but your son has to kill Kratos.
I told you, you gotta put the knife in me, and he's gonna like grab the knife with his son and like do it. That'd be so good. I just don't want Kratos to live. He's just one of those mascots that I don't know why people like him. Like the action of those games is good, but yeah, I have high hopes for God of War.
Yeah.
Speaking of Resident Evil that you brought up just a little bit ago, do you want to kick off into that?
Resident Evil 7. I kind of forgot about Resident Evil 6.
I think a lot of the world did or wants to forget about it because of how bad it is.
Right, such a bad reception.
Right. But this was a big surprise for me. So, did you ever see anything about PT or anything like that?
No.
Okay, it was like this big thing. I don't want to get into it. But I thought it was like a spiritual successor to that. And then at the end, it was like Resident Evil 7. I'm like, holy shit, like, what? That demo is not going to be part of the game. It's just kind of like an experience. And the character that you are in there will be in the game. I can't remember if he's going to be the main protagonist.
Huh.
There will be other Resident Evil people in there, but it's going to be a focus on a new thing. It's all going to be in first person, but it will be classic Resident Evil stuff. So I imagine first person monster shooting and puzzle solving, but more scary. I don't know what classic Resident Evil means. I say like the first game,
I would
but just like the demo was just like a weird, or like the preview was just like a weird way to show off Resident Evil 7. I mean,
right.
it was crazy.
Because I remember,
Plus, like with VR support is like really weird too.
I remember in the rumor mill, it was someone had said that it was going to be Claire.
But yeah, it definitely surprised me. Another game that surprised me was they announced that they are remaking Crash Bandicoot 1 through 3 in like a
Yes,
big collection.
I did say that, and I've been telling everybody at work about it.
They didn't show anything about it. The only thing they said, like, but if you want something this year, Crash is going to be in Skylanders, Imaginators, and
Right.
there you go. So it's going to be like a figure. But, like, they're remaking it, so they didn't give us a date, but I assume it'll be maybe next year. But they're remaking it from the ground up, which is, like, huge. Remaking those will be, like, crazy cool. Again, not much to say on that, but I love that it was at least, like, vindicated, because that's exactly what I predicted. I said they'd come on stage, they're going to remake all three of the first games as a remastered collection, and it'll come out this year, which I was wrong about that, but I at least got the whole remastering thing. And that was just
Right.
based on people talking about Crash, and I was like, it's not going to be a new Crash Bandicoot, obviously, because that would just be weird, and remaking seemed like the easiest and like safest way to like bring it back.
Yeah, because, I mean, that was like the middle of high school for me when those games were out.
That was the Sony mascot, pretty much.
Well, yeah, and just thinking, a lot of people nowadays who didn't have the experience of having a PlayStation 1 aren't going to know who that is, or having
They might know. They might know, like, oh, you mean those terrible games? Why are they bringing that terrible thing back? What are you talking about? PS1? What the hell?
What is that?
Another big surprise for me was Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Being made by Insomniac. I love that developer. Insomniac is so good. Ratchet & Clank came out this year for the PS4. It looks amazing. I have high faith that if anybody could do a good Spider-Man game, they would do something because they're just really good developers, and to have them do like a IP thing, it's
Right.
really cool.
What
Again, not much to say on it. The only thing that I can say is that white thing I
what's with that
hate.
costume? I don't like that costume at all.
That costume is really stupid. The game I kind of want to actually go into after Zelda because it's kind of similar, not really, but kind of. Was Horizon Zero Dawn. What do you have?
Holy cow, that game. Freaking amazing. It looks so cool.
So this is from the developers that made Killzone, which is awesome that they're finally getting away from Killzone and making a new IP. And it's like a post-apocalypse where like animals are robots,
Yeah.
and you like harvest parts off of them to like make stuff. And it seems like your bow is like have an explosive thing, can have like all these different rounds. You can like tether things. It's so cool, and like I love female protagonists. It's just like there should be more of those instead of like white dudes
That have shaved heads.
white dudes with shaved heads. But yeah, so I love that character. It looks pretty cool. You can like ride robot things. You can like tame them. It's just like a really cool like open world RPG, kind of caveman, but with like a weird like twist to it.
Yeah, I like that just rustic look, that barbarian kind of look that they all have.
And it's clear that there's something like going on. There was like a trailer for this as well. And it's just like, what's hidden? Is this gonna be like a village thing where it's just like one area, and then like, wow, where did you come from? Like did you like time travel from the Stone Age? Because the rest of the world is still good. Right. Only this one part of the world is whatever. So that's coming out. I believe the date is February 28th, 2017. Who knows if that'll get pushed back? But yeah, I kind of want to stop looking at stuff for it because I'm ready. I don't need to see anything else.
I don't
that
need
demo
any more
and the first reveal was like enough. What else from that Sony conference? How about Detroit Become Human?
I'm kind of intrigued by that game.
Did you ever play? This is a David Cage game. He did Heavy Rain.
Yeah, Heavy Rain.
And Beyond Two Souls was his last one.
I remember I asked you about Indigo.
Indigo Prophecy. That was like, they're all like really weird and super French, and they're all like they have problems, and there's so many plot holes in like all of his writing. But they're always fun rides.
Yeah.
And this looks like it could be like a really cool like detective game.
Yeah.
I loved how they show like, you can do all these kinds of things.
You can kill this kid a million different ways.
You can kill yourself. I wonder if it's going to be like a bunch of different stories that kind of connect with each other.
Yeah.
Because when they premiered this game, it was kind of about this girl who kind of became self-acknowledged as like she wants to become a person. And now the second one is like a demo of like this dude. So I think it would be awesome if it's about like a bunch of different androids and there's different stories.
Yeah.
And like how you do them ropes back together, because Heavy Rain, it was like 4 characters, I think.
Yep.
That kind of worked together and they could all die, and that affected the other parts of the story. So yeah, you just like tackle the guy and jump off the roof or whatever, and I thought it was like pretty cool. Couple other trailers I shared with you. We might as well just get us out of the way. Persona 5. Unfortunately, that was not 5. Really the announcement date was announced a week before for Valentine's Day of next year, which is a weird day to like put that out. Kind of a weird message.
I like that the tag for the thing says, "You love yourself? Well, we love yourself." Persona 5.
We know if you like this game, you're not in a relationship.
Oh, how sadly true.
I'm sad that we have to wait. It's coming out September like 16th in Japan, so that sucks with to wait so long. But it's not that long.
No.
And there's a lot of stuff we'll get into September that we can look forward to.
Yeah.
But Persona 5, I mean,
Persona 5. I like that you actually got a little more combat.
That thing has like style. So much, and
just the mask. It's literally masks.
Yeah, I like how you're like ripping them off your face to like summon the personas. That's pretty cool. I'm looking forward to that. That's another game where it's like, okay, I'm done looking at stuff. I don't need to know anymore.
Right.
Speaking of some other JRPGs, real quick, Nier Automata. The first Nier game was like whatever.
I never thought they would make a sequel.
Yeah, and Platinum's developed that. So that's kind of interesting, even though like a lot of their stuff. The third-party stuff is kind of like hit and miss, yeah. Let's see what else. Tales of Berseria.
I like that they have a female protagonist. I know you could say that Tales of Xillia had a female protagonist. that was more of a dual protagonist. This one
Yeah.
is like full on female. Let's do this. Okay.
On other Japanese things, what do you think about the Gravity Rush 2 trailer?
I'm I'm intrigued. There's two people now. I mean,
Yeah,
there was technically two people in the
there's a
other one.
rival. I think that's a rival
Yeah.
from the first game. I never finished it. I just found like the gameplay really hard to control. I kind of hope they fixed it a little bit. Even like the trailer's like, oh, she's still floating, and there's like weird things where you float and then you dive down, and it's like a really cool world. And
Oh,
Sony Japan like makes some really cool games, but
there's that scene where she's flying towards this enemy, that big bulking machine one, and the whole time I'm watching it, I'm like, she's rider kicking it.
when I did that in the game, I just like flew off the screen. If I missed him, like now I got to do it again. It was very like frustrating.
Yeah.
I think that's basically it that I wanted to really talk about for 2017. I guess the only last thing I want to close out on, very hard shift kind of, is For Honor. What do you think about For Honor?
Good.
Yes, that was a game I watched.
I'm looking for the notes. I'm sorry.
For Honor was the one where like you're a samurai, a Viking, or like a
Yes. I
knight.
thought that looked really cool. I was wondering how they were going to combine those because when the guy came on and he's like, yeah, you can be a knight, a samurai, and a Viking. I'm like, oh, okay. And then you can fight each other. I was like, what?
What he announced, that was announced last year at Ubisoft, and it was just like a multiplayer game. And this is the first year they showed the campaign, which is what I had you watch. And I'm like, oh, I'm more interested in this now because a lot of people are talking about it being like Bushido Blade, where it's like you block, 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 and like it's like a one-hit kill almost, pretty much, in how like you control.
Yeah.
I will definitely not be playing that on February 14th when it's planned to be released. Sorry, not gonna happen there, Ubisoft. I have Persona 5.
Yeah.
I really hope I have Persona 5. But I mean, Persona 5 is not for everyone.
No.
And for I don't know, I mean, it's like 2 games can obviously come out, but for me, I'm gonna put my priorities on Persona. But that is 2017 basically. Shay and I will take a quick break, and we'll come back and we'll talk about some 2016 games to look forward to this year. Of the best of 2016 of E3. And we're going to talk about the 2016 games that are coming out this year from September all the way to December that were pretty much kind of announced at E3 of like the actual dates. Nice. So we're going to begin with September. I wanted to kind of start off with Final Fantasy 15, but we kind of did that in the last segment. But so that's
exciting.
That. They announced Dragon Quest VII Fragments of the Forgotten Past is coming out on September 16th on the 3DS. It's just kind of like, I don't have to spend we don't spend a lot of time talking about that, but I'm just glad that it actually has a release.
Right? We're finally getting it. So Sony heard my prayers. Square Enix heard my prayers.
So Sony's like, Nintendo, we'll give you the money to put this game out.
We'll give you the money anyway.
I'm looking forward to it. And we'll get into some more kind of a little bit of complaints into October, but it looks good. Yep. I never played that one, so I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, and, 7 is a great game. It's big too. I'm excited to see how it's going to translate over, because 7 on the PlayStation 1 was pretty big, like over 100 hours, and that's story with outside missions.
And that was like the weird like sprites. This is actually like full 3D models and stuff too. So that's kind of crazy.
They look beautiful.
And that's pretty much all I have for September, really. There's some other games obviously coming on that month, but in terms of like stuff that was announced at E3 of like the dates, or stuff that, or big stuff that was. You get my point. Let's just move on to October 2016. Right. Don't poke holes in my thing, listener, viewer, however you're doing this. This wasn't announced at the show. This is another thing that was announced prior to the show, but World of Final Fantasy is coming out October 25th. 2 Final Fantasies in a span of 2 months. Have you seen... Did I show you this trailer?
Yes.
I believe
Yes, you did.
It was before this. It's like Kingdom Hearts, but just all Final Fantasy people, but like in weird chibi forms, which I don't know if I'm behind yet.
Right.
So that's that. The Last Guardian finally has a release date.
I was
I cannot
really
believe it.
surprised when I saw that. I was like, really? This is finally coming out?
This is the year of promise. This is the year of 10-year promises because that was
Yeah.
also announced in 2006, I think. Maybe it was 2009. It might not be as
God,
long as Final Fantasy 15, but
it
it's very
feels like it
close
was
to being
really
as.
long.
The only thing missing is Half-Life 3, which is another game people have been like waiting for forever. So that's coming out the same day as World of Final Fantasy. A couple days after that, Skyrim Remaster's coming
Oh,
out.
that's looks really good.
Yeah, I liked how they showed like this is what it looks like
Yeah.
before. Now look at it now. The cool thing I like is that they're bringing the mods to consoles. That's a really big thing for me because the modding community have been like huge. That game is still like in the PC
Yeah.
world. That's like the top 10 still on Steam. People still play that game. And just before this, actually, I was recording some footage for Skyrim, and I'm like, wow, jumping back into this game is pretty fun, but I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. Also, the game froze. I'm like, oh yeah, that happened a fucking lot
Yeah.
on the PS3 version. So I hope this thing runs better. But yeah, just whatever. Another game that's coming out that day is Titanfall 2.
Now, I didn't get a chance to play Titanfall, but I'm excited for this one. It looks
So the first one was the first game from Respawn Entertainment. They were former Call of Duty developers, and then they went to make their own studio. The first one was multiplayer only for Xbox 360 and Xbox One. There might have been a PC version, but it was all Xbox and PC. So it was all Microsoft, essentially.
right.
And there was no campaign. This one, they announced there's going to be a campaign, and it seems like it's the robot's probably going to kill himself for you, or something like that, or protect you or something, but that's what I wanted from the first game. I'm like, okay, it's only multiplayer. I'm not missing much, even though it looks
Yeah.
cool. But now there's a campaign, I care. And also that's coming to PlayStation that I care.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks crazy, and the narrative's probably like garbage, like a Michael Bay thing, but that's fine. I might care about the robot. They're going to make me try and care. They're going to try and make me want to care for that robot. But let's move on to November. Another big war game, which is Call of Duty Infinite War. So they had this is what they showed at the Sony press conference. The entire time I'm looking at it, I'm like, what the hell is this game? This game looks cool. It's like a space thing, Star Fox, but cool.
All I have in my notes is Mass Effect clone question mark.
And then like when he takes out his gun, I'm like, oh, it's Call of Duty. Oh, it's Call of Duty. As soon as he took his gun out, I'm like, yeah, it's Call of Duty. I gotta say, I've played them all, starting with 4 and onward, and I'm getting fatigued, but I don't know, this one kind of impressed me because it's way far future and in space.
Yeah.
And just like the spaceship stuff looked cool. I'm over guns, but the spaceship stuff looked pretty
I like
cool
that the Spider-Man thing. You have a little wrist anchor.
That was Titanfall 2.
Oh shit.
So my joke was, of the two Bro Fest Bang Bang games, Titanfall 2 is still the number one for me to like try. But
Yeah.
yeah, see, the marketing,
no.
that game comes out like within a week of each other.
Oh no.
And a week before Titanfall 2, Battlefield 1's coming out.
All right.
So it's
that
just,
Battlefield game, I would play that, and I don't really like those games. Freaking plane fights, trench fights, horse fights.
that is definitely not a war to be like celebrated because it's so like
No.
fucked up. But can we not just have a fun, like even though it's like a fucked up war, can we not just have like a cool game set in that era without it having to be like a controversial thing?
Right.
I'm just excited about the planes. That's
Frickin'
just the plane,
yeah.
like the Zeppelin stuff.
Oh.
That's all I'm excited for. And I've never been a Battlefield guy, but
Yeah.
yeah. So that's October 21st. To go back to that. So yeah, 3 war games coming out the span of each other. It's just like a little much, especially because EA is Battlefield and Titanfall, which is kind of crazy. So I wonder if one of those games will be pushed back. My bet is on Battlefield because those tend to get pushed a little bit. But yeah, going back to
Yeah.
November though, Dishonored 2. Did you ever play the first one? It's kind of a cool universe. It's a stealth kind of game. You got some cool powers. You're just like assassinating people. It's got a weird, like, chalky, kind of chunky art style to it. And I like the first one. I think they kind of showed a little bit too much in the whatever, but that trailer was really good.
Yeah.
I like that cover of Gold Dust Woman. It was pretty cool. Also, in November, we have Pokemon Sun and Pokemon Moon coming out November 8th.
I liked getting to see what the starters look like. I haven't been following that game that much.
this is the first time they really showed anything off of it. And that big stream that they had, they basically lured people in for the Nintendo thing. It was like in the morning on Tuesday. First, they showed the trailer that I sent to you on Facebook, and then they're like, "Okay, we're gonna show you more of Zelda, but first, Pokemon." It's like, I don't need to see 30 minutes of Pokemon because after that footage, Pokemon is Pokemon, even though it's a different region and there's some new starters. It's pretty much the same
so
thing.
they're on islands again?
It's the Alola. It's Hawaii.
Oh,
they pretty much. It's
nice.
you're a white person or a Japanese person. You're a white.
You're a white
you
Asian.
go to, so you stick out like a sore thumb, and everyone else is Hawaiian. So.
Oh.
Yeah. I don't know. The Pokemon. This is gonna bring it up to like 900 or something like that, and they're always fun, but damn. I mean, damn. There's only so much. But Pokemon is Pokemon. That'll be whatever. Let's move on to December for the last 3 games on the list. Starting with oh man, this is a long name. Kingdom Hearts HD 2.8 Final Chapter Prologue.
What?
There's no date other than December.
What is with the 0.8?
Okay,
so
they made the HD updates. Mm-hmm. There was Kingdom Hearts 1.5, I think, and there was 2.5.
Yeah.
And because this isn't 3, they already did 2.5, so they can't do anything in between. So they're like, let's do something in between, and 8 is the in-between of...
I hope this isn't Nomura sending us a secret message. 8, turn it on its side, infinite? That's how long you're waiting?
You cracked the code!
Oh, just like he directed Zelda.
But the thing that got me really excited about that is not the remake of the 3DS game, which I did like, but it's the actual Aqua stuff that takes place in between this whole thing, but is running on the Kingdom Hearts 3 engine. We basically get to play a demo of 3, which is really cool. That engine looks awesome. And then they have the movie based on that mobile game.
Oh.
Which could be interesting. I don't know. It's probably be a lot of fluppity-blup and some plot that I'm not going to understand. Be like, whoa, that's what they're talking about the entire time. You're like, no, they just made that up for whatever. But
so, did
a lot of angst.
Did Nomura write this?
Well, yeah, this is his baby. That's that. Coming out on December 6th is South Park: The Fractured Butthole.
Oh, this game looks so
Did you play the first one?
Yeah, I didn't beat it, but...
That game is awesome. I'm glad they're actually doing something else, which was not known before this, but it's a tactical game, kind of. Tactical turn-based, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
I liked how they didn't just make another game with superheroes instead. This time they're doing tactical with superheroes. So that's cool. The writing is still awesome. It still looks great.
I just like the whole trailer. We're just breaking it down like the Marvel movies.
It's funny because it's funny because we're going back to Marvel and DC again.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't need to see any more of that game.
No.
I hope it comes on December 6th. Yeah. But I think it might get delayed because last time it was like a December release and it kind of got pushed. The last game I have on my list that again, like Kingdom Hearts, has no release date other than 2016, which might not even hit 2016, but I put it in December because it's the last possible time it can come out. So, December 31st, 2016, we have Shin Megami Tensei 4 Apocalypse.
Oh, yeah. I don't really know what this game is supposed to be for. Or, like, I don't understand what the point of this one is. Why not just save up your resources and make Shin Megami 5?
The same reason why they made 3 goddamn 13 games.
Oh, no.
They have the engine.
Right.
They're not quite ready for Shin Megami Tensei 5, but they want to release another game, so let's make a side game. But using the same engine, but different story and stuff like that. So, I like Shin Megami Tensei 4 quite a lot. I'm glad it's not like this is just a special edition. This is like a brand new plot.
Yeah. Looks
interesting. You can definitely see like, oh yeah, I recognize that place and that place and that place. Mm-hmm. So, I'm not sure if I'll immediately be like psyched for this game, especially because a couple months Persona will come out,
right.
But I did like 4 quite a bit, so I have some interesting hopes for this. So yeah, that is our big preview for 2016 and 17 from E3. There's a lot of games to show. Of course, we couldn't cover all of them, but those are just some of our favorite picks from the 2017 lot and the 2016 lot. Shay, thank you for joining me as always.
It's always a pleasure.
And to the rest of you, we will see you again sometime else. Hey, did you know that you're watching the Reaction Examiner YouTube channel? That's me. You should subscribe. You should also subscribe and read my writing over on Examiner.com, where I write about video games. And hey, while you're at it, check out my Patreon because I want to upgrade my YouTube channel to better and brighter things. And hey, speaking of YouTube channels, check out The Misadventures of Team Sexy Pants, where me and my best gal pal Matilda talk about putting things in the holes. It's a comedy sex podcast for the ages. I have a lot of other links as well, but you should go in the description notes below and you'll find all that cool stuff. For now, I'm just going to sit here a little bit longer while you decide what to click on. Subscribe.